Welcome once again to the Biz Breaks Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin the Credit Crusher, along with my co-host, Nykeia Neal, the financial expert. And we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. on the Biz Breaks Podcast, where we have real talk with real entrepreneurs. Today's guest had a family situation that she had to take care of. Our prayers go out to her and her family. Be well, get back soon. But we still have some great conversation that Nykeia and I are going to have. So, Nykeia, as always, you know, we do what we do. The show always goes on. And so I want to jump into something that we were just talking about offline in that map. But I want you to introduce the conversation.
Okay. So, all right. Do we have to put like public service announcements?
Nah, we this is real talk with real entrepreneurs. Right? And say it how you're gonna say it. Don't say it how you think the public needs to hear it.
Okay. I would say all right. So I was reading something and I told Kev, I said, I was reading something a couple days ago, but when I say a couple days ago, it's probably not a couple days ago, probably 6 months ago. I don't know. Anyway, the point is I was reading something and it talked about like the map, the world map, the way that it was like orchestrated and how it is. Like the map that we use today is so off from what the continents really look like. So intentionally, so you guys see Africa right here, right? Look how small, like they're trying to make it like it's the same size of pretty much everything else, obviously, except for like Europe. But the real way with the size of Africa is really the biggest continent. So it really should be like, and it's centered. They don't have it centered. It should be centered and as big as I don't know what than everything else on here. But, you know, intentionally to make us seem small and insignificant, that's how that is. So, yeah, we got to teach our kids, you know, the stuff. It's crazy how things are just designed, though. Just not even just, I don't even want to just say like racially, just with certain things, even like anytime you want somebody to feel small, you like just try to diminish them any kind of way possible, you know, and that's just throughout history. But we still use this today. And look at that. I'm about to give me a different map.
Nice. It's incredible how deliberate people are in the minuscule efforts in society, right? Even the most trivial things like a map. Mm-hmm. But that map is everywhere. I mean, if you go to England, that map is going to look the same. If you go to Germany, if you go to China, it's going to look the same. And you're 100% correct. Landmass, the size of the landmass, Africa should be a lot bigger.
Yes. But so let's relate that to business, right? So I was just thinking right now. So how does that relate to small business? Because we talk about this, you know, for entrepreneurs, small business owners. And when you think about like large corporations, how they try to play the small business owner sometimes, like, oh, like, you know, get out of here with your little company with your couple, you know, 100 employees or whatever, or, you know, that's not big for me. And it's designed that way sometimes with certain things. So, you know, small business owners keep pushing. Doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, just keep going, keep grinding. Because everybody that's big started out small initially, right? So that's how I'm relating that to our conversation, Kev.
Yeah. And so, it's funny that we should talk about that, right? So let me tell you guys about an experience that I had today, this very day. So I have been banking with the institution. I have been business banking with the same institution since I opened my business back in 2016. The banker who opened my business accounts is a Black woman. She's from Jamaica. Great person. But here's the deal. I bank with a major bank. I bank with smaller banks as well, but I bank with a major bank. And that major bank, again, I won't name them, but that major bank there are a few things about that major bank that are difficult for me. One, the major bank will not they won't lend to my business because they put me in the credit repair space. Now, those of you who know me, who use the service or who know how we operate, know that we are not a credit repair company. We are a credit counseling company, right? And there's a major difference. On top of that, we don't do just personal, we do business. And in fact, the business business credit product is our keystone product, right? So nice. They won't lend to me. When I started the business, I needed a payment processor. They won't let me get a payment processor through the bank. They offer it to small businesses, but they won't let me get a payment processor because I'm in the credit repair industry. They put me in this box, and they have difficulty with even some of the banking products that protect businesses like overdraft and non-sufficient fees. They won't give me those same protections because of the industry I'm in, right? I had to go in there today to get a letter, but she said to me, I said, you guys are missing out millions of dollars because in our business credit building product, we advise companies to go get banks, and we tell them one of the banks we want them to get is a major bank. But I don't ever refer business your way because you guys are not amenable to my industry and a lot of other industries. And I said, so you guys want me to refer business to you, but you don't treat me like I'm important. If I were Comcast, if I were a major company and I came into this bank, you're going to trip over yourself trying to get the account. But most of the revenue in this company is being generated through small businesses. Yet you keep lumping us into categories and denying us and then asking us to give you referrals. And she was like, she said, do you like me? And I said, yes, I like you as a banker, but your hands are tied. You just represent the bank. And the bank I don't have a problem. You didn't say I couldn't get this credit line or this payment processor. Your bank did.
Right.
So
you're going to keep banking with them? What you going to do?
Well, I have to keep banking with them because of the relationship that I have set up. But I have several other banks that I use. I just use them for what I need them for.
You need them for. I got you.
Right.
So let's talk about that referral. When people expect referrals from you, but they don't give referrals. Like, it is a two-way street, and referrals is really important, I believe, in any business, whether you're big or small or what have you. That's why you see so many people out there with these referral programs. Like, hey, once you sign up for something, hey, refer a friend, $10 off or whatever, right? And I had an experience with someone. I had this a couple times, but somebody who would always ask for referrals, but would never even take the time or consideration to learn about what it is that I do to get, to be able to give me referrals. True. And, it's definitely a two-way street. Like, it is that, I'm going to do business with you, do business with me if it makes sense. Right. But if we talk about referrals and we're like in the same space, and that's a big deal. So recently, though, I met with this awesome young brother. I'm going to have him on the show. He's phenomenal, just getting it over in Jersey, because I don't know if y'all know, I'm in Jersey now. I've been in Jersey for a little while, but I'm just saying it. I'm actually really building in Jersey now. It's different. But he says that he's real dope. Anyway, so we just decided to work with one another to really help each other grow each other's businesses, just like you and I, do with other people. And it makes sense. Like, when you do that and just give, if you give, you're going to get. But if you just like, give me, it's not going to work. And that's like in every good book. It don't matter what religion you in. I know that's in all the good books, right?
Right.
You got to be a giver. Right. You know what I mean? So you got to be out here giving people, entrepreneurs.
So nice. Now, let me ask you a question. What about if the person is giving, but the giving is easier for someone else's business and the receiving is easier for their business for you? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's say that person is in, so you're doing insurance, right? They are looking for, I don't know, real estate, for example. Let's say they're a real estate agent, right? It is easier for them to give referrals to a mortgage company or to my business than it may be for them to give them to your business, although they are probably the same clients, right? But you might be passing along real estate referrals because it's real estate, right? A good real estate agent is extremely valuable. So you might be giving out 10 referrals a month to this real estate agent. That real estate agent may be giving 10 referrals a month to a mortgage lender, but may only be giving you 1 referral per month.
Right. Now, see, it's all not equal. Like, I don't expect to, because you and our business is like you said. When I sit down with people, I do financial game plans for people, and I ask people, hey, what are your, top financial goals? Most people say that they want to increase their credit. Like, I want to pay off some debt. I want to increase my credit score. I want to buy a house. So when I look at my business and the way my business is, what businesses around mine go with my business that I want to use and partner with for referral sources so that we can network together, right? So my top list is a credit person, boom, got Kevin Lewis, right? Real estate agent, boom, got Quandell, right? Then it's looking at mortgage, got Lester. I don't know some other people outside of that too. Good CPA that works in my business, had Brian on the show. So a lot of our network started from having those people on the show. So I look at, okay, what makes sense around mine? Now, a good referral source for me is not somebody who like sells t-shirts. No knock against that, but it doesn't work. You may run across somebody and we would give each other referrals on somebody like the jacket that I have. It's not around, but anyway, I got this dope jacket. It says Queen RVP on there. It's hot, it's hotness. But somebody seen that and asked, hey, who did your jacket? I'm gonna tell you the guy who did my jacket, right? They wasn't like, hey, I want to open up a Roth IRA. When they see my jacket, you know what I mean? So it's not always the same. But I think that if that person is in your network and you discussed it, then it's up to that person to make sure that, hey, when I'm speaking to other people, am I listening out to, I know what Nykeia does. And if there's an opportunity for me to refer somebody, I'm going to take the opportunity to do it. See, I think when people are not going to do that, that's when it makes it a lot one-sided. I could be wrong, but that's how I look at it. So I'm never looking at it like I've given you way more referrals than you've given me. But I'm not like,
I hear that. Shot across the bow.
Listen, this said it's a real show for real entrepreneurs. I mean, it is what it is. But it's not in a space like when you come across somebody, you're like, hey, now what I will say that I get from not necessarily clients, but the connections. A lot of the people that we had on this show, it's great connections. I have 2 meetings set up this Friday with 2 awesome people that I met on this show, courtesy of Kevin Lewis. So, it's and that could be another partnership for me or just another way and just being a connector, because you always want to, when you're in business, to think, how can I help somebody else? Like Kevin, when I first met you, it was like, okay, boom, who do I know? Who can I connect you with? That's what's really important. Going to networking events and all of that good stuff. Everybody that you talk to is not necessarily going to be for your business or whatever, but it's like, hey, if I come across somebody that I met a painter at a networking event, hey, I got somebody in my network I can refer you to.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
No, listen, that's that. As long as says there's some reciprocation in some form of fashion, we're good to go. So good. What you drinking there?
This is water. Trader Joe's, they didn't give me an endorsement or anything, so I had to just put my water in the bottle.
Nope, they don't get paid from us.
Free advertisement. That water is great though, but it's just water.
So we talked about 2 things so far: the deliberate minimizing of people, both socially and professionally, right? Mm-hmm. The map has minimized our continent, and my bank has minimized me as a resource, and it's a mistake. I'm gonna make them hurt though. Listen. I'm gonna bring the pain. They don't know that the pain is coming, but the pain is coming because we got a product on the business side that we're getting ready to. We're gonna revolutionize the game, and when we release that product, they're gonna be begging me, Kevin, can we get your business?
Listen. I wish we had like a switchboard for the music right now, because right now I'm about to play Method Man, like to bring the pain. I gotta make them hurt, but not because of me, not because of revenge. They've got to hurt because they've got to understand that small businesses need some attention. You can't be small businesses generate over 90% of the revenue of all businesses in the country. You can't ignore us, but you still treating us. You still treat the big business. That 10%, you give them 80% of your attention or 90% of your attention. It's going to change. We're going to make them hurt though. We're going to make them hurt. All right. So you got topics for us, Kev?
Yeah. So I want to talk. First things first. I watched the Breakfast Club. Now I will endorse them. I watched the Breakfast Club podcast. Well, I don't watch the podcast. Let me be clear. I watched the interviews segments of their podcast. And today they had a young lady on whose name is Tanya something. She's out of Charleston, North Carolina. So in January of 2023, they are opening the International African American History Museum.
Oh.
It is going to be bigger than the one in DC. Although the one in DC, if you haven't been there, please, you have to get there.
You go through everything in a day. If you really like go through everything, you can't do it.
Oh, no. It is a week-long trip at minimum. And you are definitely not going to get through it. You might not even get off the first floor.
So what's the difference between the two? Because you just said that one is international. So I'm assuming it's going to have some other Black culturals from Jamaica and wherever else.
Yeah. So that's the difference. The African American History Museum in DC is great in that it chronologizes our African American history.
First word of the day.
There you go. So all the other ones I said, you know, got you.
That one stuck out to me. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it chronologizes our history, but in America, right? Does a great job from bringing us from the slave ships that dropped us off on the light. Right. And it does some really good things in between where a lot of the African American history museums miss it. There's some blind spots, right? This one though is going to talk about. So slavery is in the middle of our history. It's in the middle of African American history. Most people think it's the beginning, but it's in the middle. The reason they call it the international is because it's going to talk about our origins in Africa and the different migration patterns that brought some things here.
Okay.
But it's also not just going to talk about the things that are obvious, right? Everybody knows civil rights, right? Everybody knows slavery. Everybody knows civil rights. Everybody knows the deplorable conditions of slavery. What most people don't know that this museum is going to highlight is things like the technology of rice. When you hear me say the technology of rice, you say, rice? Technology? No. There is a technology to growing rice that was perfected in Africa.
Okay.
And that was what the slave trade was all about. It wasn't just about bringing labor. Most people think that it was just labor. And let me not shame anybody. I thought so as well.
Right.
But they brought labor. They brought technological expertise. They brought social expertise over with them. So a bunch of the slaves were brought here because of their knowledge of how to grow rice, right? Which is a key staple, and how to preserve it. So they came with those skills. And so this museum is going to not only chronologize our history, our total history, but it's also going to talk about those pieces that you don't even put together,
right,
with other things.
And this is in South Carolina?
It's in Charleston, South Carolina. It'll open January 20th, 2023.
I'm looking forward to that. When we went to South Carolina, we went to where was we at? We was in Savannah.
Yeah.
No.
That's Georgia.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, where was we? I only went to South Carolina one time. And what's so dope about it, we went on this walking tour, and it was a tour of like the slave trade as it happened in South Carolina. And it was done by this Black woman, and she was so awesome. She just talked about like the indigo, where like they went off to like a separate island for that, and how even if you escaped as a slave, because you were working the indigo, you was forever stained a slave. Just her walking tour was just so awesome, like just going through the city. And it's funny because it was another group that was doing like a history tour too, and it was like led by like Colonel Sanders. So you know that they weren't even talking about any things that we were talking about. It was different. Just how they came up to the dock. It was, if anybody's in South Carolina, I'm going to get that information and put it out there. But just that walking tour, I said I'm gonna take the girls down there to go see. She's in like at the church, and how they had like little holes in the floor of the church because it was hiding slaves down there that was escaping, so they could breathe through. It was just phenomenal. Like the trees, and you look at those trees. Like as we were walking, I was like, the little stuff I do know. I'm like, those trees, they definitely hung black people from those trees. The ones you always see in the book. Yeah, those like kind of weird shaped trees. I forgot what they're called, but yeah. So we're not going to stay on the slave trade, but it's good to have little history nuggets in here. Sometimes you can learn some things. So I'm definitely looking forward to that when that opens up.
Yeah, the lady's name is Dr. Tanya Matthews.
Okay,
great resource to the Black community. But I'm so looking forward to the International African American History Museum opening January 20th, 2023, Charleston, South Carolina. So,
all right.
Yeah, those. We need to know things like that. Nice. We need to know things.
And we could plan a trip. We can go together.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, definitely. So,
right. What you got next, Kev? What's up?
Greenwood Bank and what Killer Mike is doing over at Greenwood Bank. So, for those of you who don't know, Ryan Glover, who is a prolific real estate investor out of Atlanta, former mayor of Atlanta, Andrew Young, and Mike Render, who is known by his stage name as Killer Mike.
Right. It's like Mike Render. People are like, who? Killer Mike.
Right. Don't nobody know. For those of you who may not know Killer Mike, because I don't assume, he was on the I Ain't Never Scared. I Ain't Never Scared. He has one of the best verses on that collab. So, but look him up. So they started a bank called Greenwood Bank, specifically for the Black community, Black business community specifically. Their goal was to open up lending to non-traditional Black-owned businesses because they know that many Black-owned businesses are in the non-traditional spaces. And when we talk about non-traditional, we talk about businesses like hair salons and barbershops, food trucks, credit counseling, painters, companies who have difficulty getting lending because big banks do what they do to me, which is put them in these boxes and don't, address them for who they are and how they operate. And so they open this online bank. It's if you want to find out more about it, it's bankgreenwood.com. Let me put that in the comments. So now I will endorse them. So it is bankgreenwood.com. I think I got it right. And because yep. But here's the interesting piece that is interesting in and of itself. So I would encourage you all, and I have been talking about this for quite some time, but I would encourage you guys all. They officially opened. So prior to, I guess they've been open for 2 months now, but before 2 months, you had to get on the waiting list until they actually open the bank. Now the bank is open and they're taking deposits and doing some transactions. They probably won't start lending until the beginning of next year, but they're taking deposits now. And they're taking deposits in waves. So the first wave of people who joined the wait list are now able to open up their accounts. I must be in the third wave.
Yeah, I'm on a wait list too.
Yeah.
No yet.
Did they send you an email saying that you are about to open your account soon? You'll be able.
Not yet.
All right, so then you might be in the fourth wave because I just got that email last week saying, get ready because we're going to be accepting deposits from you in the next few weeks.
That's good.
But they have done a partnership with this organization out of Atlanta. The name escapes me now, but this organization does financial literacy. They are doing some micro lending. They're doing some some investing, really major stuff coming out of that bank. And so I'm excited. And if anybody know,
I said Black Wall Street starting again.
Which is why it's called Greenwood, because Greenwood is a street that ran through Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
That everybody refers to as Black Wall Street. Little known fact, it's not the first Black Wall Street, and it was one of many. It's just the one they talk about the most. But the first Black Wall Street was in Richmond, Virginia. Is it Richmond, Virginia, or North Carolina? Maybe North Carolina. I think Richmond, Virginia, but maybe North Carolina. I think Richmond, Virginia has the first Black Wall Street.
Well, what makes something considered a Black Wall Street? Because is it the size of the city blocks that they had? Is the amount of businesses that they had? Like what makes it considered a Black Wall Street? Do you know?
Revenue per capita of the businesses that are located there.
Okay.
Yep. So of the Black businesses that were located there. So the average revenue by today's dollars in Richmond, Virginia would have been probably 500 million.
Okay.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, same.
Mm-hmm.
So now Tulsa, Oklahoma had more businesses, but again, the average revenue is the same.
So did they crumbled too? Because I haven't heard of those. They got bombed out as well.
Not bombed out in as much as gentrification, redlining. There are a lot of things that happen to those communities. Again, not being able to lend. So we don't. This is not a political show, right?
This is not.
Right.
This is not. Okay, I'm keeping.
Not a political show.
No, it's not a political show. But go ahead, say your point.
But there are so many things that are done to our communities to remove the wealth, right? Drugs and alcohol. Then there is, again, lack of access to capital. Then it is things like what happened to so the office that we operated out of on Cecil B. Moore is the building is owned by a Black development company, Black woman-owned development company. Shout out to Mosaic. If you guys know anybody or if they're listening, shout out to Mosaic. They're great developers, great group of people. But what happened to them happened a lot in our communities, in that Mosaic, the building that we have our office in, when Mosaic came and bought that building, they got the building, and then a company came and bought that. They were trying to buy three buildings. A company came in and bought the other two buildings adjacent to that building just so they wouldn't get it, for no other reason. They had no intentions of doing anything with it. They just bought it so that Mosaic wouldn't get it. And that's sometimes what happens in our Black Wall Street.
You know, the company that designed the building too is a company out of New York.
Yeah. That's correct. Also Black owned.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mosaic is doing great things. Shout out to Tracy over there, killing the game, real estate, helping everybody out.
Yeah.
Helping the community.
Yeah. Leslie's Smallwood Lewis. I like to say she's family.
You claim everybody. You have your family big.
If they have the last name Lewis, you certainly are. You're certainly right. You're certainly right.
All right. So what else you got for us? I know you itching to get to one topic on there. I'll just wait for you to drop it.
I love all the topics.
I know, but
it's not about me.
No, I'm interested in talking about them. I told you. Let's go. Let's go. What's the next one? What we got?
So what I'm really excited about, I'm excited about all of these things equally, right? One of the things that excites me though is these IL rights that have been written into law now. IL rights are image and likeness rights. Those people who are unfamiliar with the term image and likeness rights, a lot of you guys know that many college players many college players bring a lot of money to the schools that they play for because of merchandising. So a top high school recruit goes to, let's say they go to the University of Texas, right? Which has a big let's say football, right? Has a big football program. They go to the University of Texas because the University of Texas has a lot of money. They are a football school, so they go out, they spend a lot of money bringing these recruits in, right? But the recruit goes to the University of Texas. The recruit does what the recruit is supposed to do and is a phenomenal player, becomes a Heisman Trophy winner. As a result, all through his college career, people are buying his jersey, a jersey with his name on the back out of the bookstores. People in other states are buying his jersey because they just love him as an individual. But up until now, he couldn't make any money off of those jersey sales.
Right.
Well, now he can. Anything that has his image and likeness on it has to be licensed by him and him or her. Let me not exclude women.
I was just going to say her, but
let me not exclude women. Brittany Griner and shout out to Brittany, who's I think still in the Ukraine struggling. Sidebar, those of you who don't know Brittany Griner is, I think she played for Baylor, but she was a top WNBA recruit coming out of college. She was incredible in college. Went to play overseas, and I don't know if she was overseas playing or she was going, but she got locked up in the Ukraine and is having difficulty getting out.
Yeah, some BS.
Yeah, so shout out to Brittany Griner and the Griner family and everybody who's involved. Let's bring her home soon. Let's bring her home yesterday. Forget about soon. It's important. So those of you guys who can help and can get close to this situation, please do whatever you can to reach out. But anyway, in any event, so Brittany Griner coming out of college. So I can't tell you how many jerseys. I was even thinking about buying a Brittany Griner jersey. I just couldn't find one. But now people like her can make money off of their image and likeness. And why that's important is because, well, it's important, one, because of the athlete, right? The non-exploitation of the athlete. It's important in the Black community because now these athletes are able to make some money and help their families out earlier, which can keep some of them in college. Some people turn pro because their families need money.
Right.
Now they can get money, and so they're not forced to turn pro, or they don't have the same pressure to turn pro, which means they can get the benefit of the education. And they can still choose to go pro if they want to, but they get the benefit of the education and still, have a decent.
Which is good too, because what is it? The average football player, they play for 5 years or something?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Right. A lot of people come out with no, understanding of anything financial. So, there's a lot of predatory agents out there, people who don't have money, not used to having money when you get it, not even thinking about how it spends. So you just spend it, got an entourage, all of that. And there's a lot of people end up broke after the process. So, maybe staying in school a little longer, getting that degree could help you have something to fall back on if that happens to be you,
Nice. I think that's a good place for your business. I think you're in a good place to explore, and we'll talk offline about this more in depth, but I think you're in a good place to explore making those people your clients. Because think about this. They're starting to get this money, right? So when they get to the pros, they get an agent, and that agent usually connects them with money managers who often do.
It's a lot of agents now that are becoming money managers themselves.
Maybe not the best idea.
No, it's not.
But now that they're able to get these money as freshmen, sophomores in college, they are going to more than ever need somebody like you to come in and say, hey, this is how you budget. This is how you invest. This is how you ensure your money.
Yes.
Right. Before you get there.
Yep.
So that when you get there, nobody can tell you how to do it because I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years. That's a big opportunity for you, in my opinion, which is why I'm so excited about it.
No, it is. It is. So let me ask you this. This is kind of staying on topic a little bit, but how do you think about, it seems like, and I don't know the stats to any of this. I'm going to go off some of the things that I've read, but like what Deion Sanders is a football coach now. And, having some Black athletes now starting to go to HBCUs, whereas before they were just going to, trying to get drafted by the top colleges, but now going to HBCUs, because then that brings those dollars, to our communities, to our institutions. I don't know much about college football in that way at all for me to just be like, oh yeah, you can go through. But I'm just saying, if we thinking and we start growing together, we keeping our dollars, where they need to be and growing in that way too. So what should look, you excited?
Because that is where I'm going with this. That's exactly where I'm going with this. You segue perfectly. So now that they can get money off their image and likeness, see, the reason that a lot of the Black athletes go to the major Oklahoma states, Baylor's, is because they know that's their best shot to get to the pros, to make money, to help their family, right? Mm-hmm. But now that they can make money, again, they can now make choices. A lot of them would choose to go to HBCUs, but they know that they might not get seen by the HBCUs. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. Now that they can make money and go to HBCU, now the talent goes to HBCUs. Now the pros are scouting at the HBCUs at a greater level, mm-hmm. which means that now the boosters are coming back and putting money back into the HBCUs. It's circular, right? So a person comes, a top recruit from high school, goes to Virginia State University, my alma mater. Not saying it's the best, but it's better than the rest. But
man, I got nothing to compare. I went to Bowen. I wish I went to an HBCU though.
You can still go.
I wish.
But the top recruit comes out. She comes out, goes to Virginia State University, plays basketball, makes money off of her jersey sales. She gets, because she's at the HBCU college. Pros come. WNBA picks her up. Mm-hmm. She now becomes world famous. She now gives back to her HBCU.
Right.
And now the HBCU can put money into the engineering program, the robotics program. Now it can attract top talent from around the country. And it's circular. I'm mm-hmm. so excited.
So, but the other thing about this is, right, isn't the coaches too, like,
right.
I would think too, if I'm going to go to a school, I still want to go somewhere where I feel like the coach is going to take me to the next level. I'm going to be around other like great players too, to elevate, because you don't want to be the biggest person in your area, because that's not really helping you grow per se. You know what I mean? Right. So hopefully that makes more people come together so that those things happen too. Like Deion Sanders going was a big deal. I know.
And he did that to spark this very thing. Mm-hmm. If I go, others will follow. Mm-hmm. And the more follow, the better it's going to be for everybody involved. This is such an exciting time if we can take advantage of it and not sabotage. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so
I'm so excited.
What's up with the NFT world, Kevin?
Oh, I love the NFT world. I love the NFT world. Let me lay down the disclaimer, because you always have to. This does not constitute financial advice of any kind. We are not, I am not a financial advisor. You can actually give financial advice, can't you?
No, you can't give it to a platform. You can't broadcast.
All right, so we are not financial advisors. This does not constitute financial advice. These are just opinions of the host of this show. With that said, NFTs, nice. I love the NFT game, man. Again, this is really putting the power of money making in the artist's hands. So I am looking into an NFT from an artist. Shoot. I gotta remember now. I'll think of it. I'm sure I'll think of it after the show is over. Mm-hmm. But there's an artist that's doing these wonderful paintings, and he's selling them as NFTs. So you buy the NFT and then you get the painting, the physical painting, along with the NFT.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of art is it? Like what kind of paintings?
So he's doing African right now. He's just doing African female, strong African female, which I love.
Of course,
I love. He did this piece, this queen piece that I got to get my hands on it. I got to get my hands on it. It's on OpenSea right now. I think it's selling for, I think it's $990 US.
What's OpenSea, Kev?
OpenSea is the Amazon of NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're looking for, they are the biggest platform. There are others, but they are the biggest platform for selling NFTs.
Gotcha.
And for those who don't know what an NFT is, think of it as digital artwork that you buy with digital money. So cryptocurrency. That's the simplest way to explain it. It's a piece of digital art that you can purchase. It's a piece of, let me say art. But when I say art, don't just think of paintings. Think of music, poems, tweets. All of that's art. And so it's a piece of digital art that has.
You say tweet?
Oh yeah.
Tweets is considered art? You mean like tweets, like tweeting from Twitter? All right.
Yes. So you want to explain what that comes from?
So if I just like give some bomb quote I put on Twitter, you could buy it. Like I don't understand. Yeah. So the founder of Twitter sold his first tweet, the first tweet ever, for I think it's like $16 million or something. As an NFT. It's always who's willing. It's the value. It's who's willing to pay for it. Listen, if I had the 16 million, I'd have bought it. You know how valuable the first tweet ever is going to be at some point in life. Just think about if Twitter goes on for the rest of life ever, it'll still be valuable. But if Twitter goes defunct, so think about if you had the first chat message ever passed through Black Planet, right? You know how valuable that would be right now. Or you had the first. It's always valuable. Whoever is when somebody willing to buy it. That's all. Right. Valuable. That's what value is. Right. For me, value is like I don't care what the person. What it say? Oh, okay, it's cool. But I value other things. So for you, it might be like Snoop Dogg's. He has a. So Snoop Dogg bought Death Row. No, I didn't know that. Yeah. So he bought Death Row. He tried to buy his he started trying to buy his masters back from Death Row. A Jewish guy owns Death Row now, or used to own Death Row. Now Snoop owns, right? But a Jewish guy owned it. He tried to buy his masters back from the guy. The guy gave him a number that he was ridiculous. So instead, he bought Death Row and the catalog. Snoop is a bad man, y'all. That's a bad man right there. But so he released his album back on Death Row as an NFT. Each one of the songs you can get off of OpenSea. Oh, okay. As an NFT. So I have the CD somewhere. You have the CD. and well, you don't have this one. I just said that just to play. I'm just playing. But it's cool because instead of for the artist, instead of you having to split money with the label and the engineer, but you got to still split money with the engineers, but with the label and the agent, right? It goes directly to Snoop. Right. You don't have to just go on concerts. What they say, going on tours where you make most of your money as an artist. You don't have to just be away from your family forever to. And anybody who owns it, they can sell it. And every time somebody sells it, Snoop gets a portion. So think about this. Think about it like this. Think about how great this is. This is even better than buying the CD, right? So you bought the CD. Let's say you bought the CD from, let's say you went to someplace that's no longer in business. There's no place to buy a CD.
but let's say FYE, right?
Like Tower Records or something.
Like Tower Records.
Right. I said somewhere.
Oh my God. Sam Goody. Right. Sam Goody's got it.
Right. Wait, just a side note. I just got to say this. Remember when, it's an old head moment. Remember when you used to get those little card catalogs in the mail where if you bought like 10 CDs for like $1 and then you had to, they was getting burned. I don't even know why they thought that was a good idea, because you sending it to people who are young, who don't have a great understanding of money, who don't care about having to pay people back. That's why I got all my CDs.
Yo, you mean to tell me you're going to send me all the CDs and then ask for your money?
It's like, what? We got some more cards. Like,
you all the way beat.
It's bad. Bad financial habits. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. Pay your
family. But you did it. We only talk about what we did, not what we do.
I totally did it. And that's why I said that's where a lot of those CDs came from. But I get the whole NFT art thing, in a sense, because what I did now was I had going through my storage or whatever. I found like all these old CDs and I took the covers out from all the CDs and I was going to just put them on one of my mini projects. It's like a great idea that is not like done yet. And I'm not even working on it. But my idea is to put all of them, it's like a photo frame, like one photo frame together. Mm-hmm. All of the, I mean, like Snoop is Nas, is Lauryn Hill, is, everybody, just all of those things. So, but the NFT, hey, somebody can go ahead and create an NFT now and take all those album covers and draw them or whatever and put that on. I will buy that.
Or you can take a picture of it, a professional picture of it, and make your own NFT.
Oh, okay.
Of that.
See, didn't know that.
Yes, that's how an NFT gets done. Now, you have to find somebody that knows how to turn it into a digital art piece and then tokenize it, but that's easy to do.
Right.
But let me tell you the cool thing about, so let's say you bought the CD. So here's how Snoop made money off of Doggy Style, right? Tower Records bought the album. They bought 25 Doggy Style CDs, right? For each one of their stores. Mm-hmm. So let's say they had 100 stores. They bought 25 CDs. Boom. That's 2,500 total. And let's say they paid $10. Let's just say they paid $10, right? So that's 25,000. No, that's 250,000. It's one of those thousands. Right?
Guess we don't have to be you don't have to be that great in math, guys, to be in finance. Just so you know, it's calculated.
25,000 to 250,000. But anyway, they paid that. Snoop got that money. Well, Snoop didn't get that money. That money went to all his people, and he got a piece of it, right? Mm-hmm. But now Tower Records sells it for $20. They get to keep that. So the difference between what they paid and what they sell it for is their profit, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you go in and spend your $20 at FYE, right? Mm-hmm. Now the CD belongs to you. Mm-hmm. If you sell it to me, you can sell it to me for $25 if I was willing to pay for it, right? But you can sell it to me for $25. The only person that makes money off of you selling it to me is you. Mm-hmm. NFTs, though, every time that thing gets sold, you get paid.
Okay.
So you sold it to in this scenario, you sold it to FYE, mm-hmm. Snoop got paid. FYE sold it to you, Snoop got paid. You sold it to me, Snoop got paid.
Good. Good. Mm-hmm.
It's money, man.
Yeah, it is money.
That's how money works. So
okay, give us a tip that you have. Give us a credit tip. I get your emails. I love your emails, but give us like a credit tip, Kev.
Well, I'm gonna stay in that vein. I'm gonna stay in this week and talk about business credit for those people who don't get my emails and those people who may not have seen the post. So today we're talking about business credit and the 4 C's of business credit, which are character, capital, character, capital, collateral, and capacity. So character, capital, collateral, and capacity, and not necessarily in that order. Character is a lender's going to look at your personal credit just to see if if you've taken care of your personal credit. If you got some late or missed payments, you got some charge-offs, you got some collections, it's going to be much more difficult for them to give you a business loan because they're going to look at that. That's your character. Your capital, those are the assets your business owns, and they're really looking at your debt to asset ratio. Mm-hmm. So they're saying if you own $100,000 worth of assets, but you have $100,000 worth of liabilities, we are less likely to lend to you than if you have $100,000 worth of assets, but you have $10,000 worth of liabilities. So just make sure your balance sheet looks good in that regard. Have way more assets, or the value of your assets needs to be way higher than the value of your liabilities.
Man, that's in life.
Yeah, that's in life. That's just how you live life. Then there's collateral, and that is what the business owns that they can surrender should they default on the loan. And it may be some of the assets of the company, but you don't want to tie all of the assets up in this collateral. So you want to collateralize something that if you don't pay the loan and they come take this collateral, it's not going to collapse your business. And then there's capacity, and that's just your ability to pay it back. And they're going to look at your revenues. They're going to look at your gross profit. They're going to look at your net profit. So as long as all three of those things are high, life is good. So character, capital, collateral, and capacity.
Good. 4 C's.
The 4 C's of business bankability.
Yeah.
Say that real fast. The 4 C's of business bankability.
No, that wasn't that fast, guys.
Oh.
Just say it again. Let's
say it slow. The 4 C's of business bankability. I wanted to say it slow because I want the audience to hear it.
I was gonna say it fast. It's said the same way. It's not fast because you said it's
fast. So that's my credit tip. What you got on the finance side?
Oh, let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with life insurance today. If you have life insurance through your job, you need to go to your HR and ask for your policy. You're not going to have a policy, but asking for your policy. They're going to give you a certificate of insurability. So it's going to show that you're insured. But the reason why you want that, you want to know how it's going to pay out, because there's a lot of times that job insurance doesn't pay out the way that you think it does. Meaning you could be considered on furlough and you pass away on furlough. That's not an active employee. So your active status is really important when it comes to that. Knowing who's on there. A lot of times I meet with people and they're like, oh yeah, my whole family is insured. And they think insured, meaning they put the beneficiary. So no, your family's not insured. You're insured, but they're on it as beneficiaries, which is not insuring their life. So it's different. So if you are somebody who's stuck on just having work insurance and you think that that's efficient, then you need to make sure that you get your actual policy or your certificate of insurability and read what that says. There's countless examples of, I'll give you one, was a man who he had cancer and he was a school teacher. So he didn't show back up to work for school during that year, but he called in and he said his insurance and everything was intact. He passed away later that year, but the insurance company did not pay out because he did not show up one day for school. If he had known that he needed to show up at least one day, he would have went for that one day to know that his family was going to be taken care of. So he passed away thinking that his family was taken care of. And his wife is like a whole story on the news. But my point is, guys, you just got to know what you have. So you want to make sure that you have that. You want to have life insurance outside of work, but if all you have it is at work, you want to get those policies, copies of the insurance so you can see exactly what it means to be an active employee, how they're going to pay out, what all of that entails. So that's my tip.
Nice. I was about to be afraid, but then I realized you said check your policy at work. But if I don't show up to work, I'm the boss, so I didn't fire me. I'm going to say that I was at work.
You gonna say that you was at work?
I would say for the insurance policy that I was definitely at work.
Right, but you want to have insurance outside of that. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Because you control it outside of that. Your boss could at any time decide that they're going to change your benefits. They're not going to call you up like, "Hey, Kev, so we were thinking about going with this new company. What do you think?" No, don't do that. Right? They're just going to make the change. You're just going to get the memo. That's what it's going to be. So guys want to make sure that you have the right insurance in place. Important.
So I need to get this certificate of insurability, like business bankability. The certificate of insurability. I need to get mine too and take a look at it and see what it doesn't pay.
That's if you have insurance through your employer, which you don't, right?
No, but I have insurance. Shouldn't I know what they're gonna pay out on?
Get your policy, yes.
Because there's some stipulations in that too, right?
Yeah, it's your policy. But if it's through your job, is this a certificate of insurability? Because you don't own it. Your company owns it.
Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we get out of here, you're reading a book you said was life-changing.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to get it. Hold on, let me get it.
Exit. Stage left even. My left, your right.
The 12-week year.
12-week year.
This is good. So basically, this book just breaks down how you can get your goals done in 12 weeks, as opposed to having to take the whole year. But it goes through talking about like your accountability. That's the biggest thing. Like accountability in anything that you do, whether it's in your own business, your own health and fitness, with your kids, whatever. We need to be accountable in life. But it just talks how to break it down and why we miss goals in the first place. What's your interest versus a commitment? Like, are you truly committed? And what does it mean to give your commitment and things? But yes, this book, Kev, this book is everything. So y'all about to see some
Who's the author?
The author is Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. I'll put it, you want to put it in the chat? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Yes.
P. Morgan and oops.
And it's not one of those books that's like a theory book. It's like a how-to. It gives you the tools that you need to put it together. So it's like a workbook too. I say that because in the middle, it gives you, after teaching you some things, okay, now let's do the application, which is really important. We read a lot of things that we don't apply. We learn a lot of things that we don't apply. The application of it is going to be dope. So I'm excited about this.
What's Michael's last name?
Lennington, Lenningston. And it's not that, it's like, this book was like $15 maybe.
Got you.
Yes.
All right. And are those the same authors as the 4-Hour Work Week? No.
I don't think so.
In fact, I think the 4-Hour Work Week was written by a woman. So, no.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't think so.
I think we had some good conversation today. Nice.
Yes, absolutely.
We talked about some things. So, as always, we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the Biz Breaks Podcast, where we have real talk with real entrepreneurs. Stay tuned. Next week, we promise to have an exciting guest. And for those of you who are looking for us, you can find us at the Biz Breaks Podcast on Facebook. We have our own Facebook page. You can connect with us on all of our private social media pages. Myself, Nykeia Neal. You can go to the YouTube page at youtube.com/Premisien Credit Counseling. You can see this and all of the Biz Breaks Podcast shows. Got some good stuff. You might want to go back and take a look at those because everybody that's come on here dropped some gems. And so
absolutely. Yes, they have made several connections from our guests.
And shout out to the previous guests and the guests who are coming. Thank you guys for being on. We truly appreciate you. And we're going to see you guys again in the future. And for those who are going to come on again, I'm sure they're going to provide some great content. So, so we're excited. Nice. You got anything you want to tell the audience?
Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night.
God bless. Good night.